Greetings, Varlets. This is Rosario, and welcome to my new show I like to call Rosario Rants. In this show, I'm just going to be ranting or raving about any of the things I like about Warhammer or don't like about Warhammer. Like the books, or the lore, or the games, whether tabletop, or like the video games, sorry. And yeah, we're just gonna be chatting about these kind of topics. So if you like what you hear and would like me to read more about any other topics, then please feel free to hit that like button and send some comments my way. If you like any particular topics that you want me to talk, then just put them down there. But yeah, today's topic is gonna be the Horus Heresy. Now, I think that anybody who's heard anything about Warhammer has heard of has heard about the Horus Heresy. And I believe that a lot of times, fans of Warhammer, when talking to people who could be interested in Warhammer, will immediately tell these budding fans to read the Horus Heresy. And I feel like that is kind of the wrong approach. The Horus Heresy is too long and too modest and too full of terms and grandiose topics that somebody just trying to get into the hobby or into the stories, it's just gonna go over their head. You're kind of giving a new fan, like say for instance, somebody who's trying to learn math, instead of going straight to, addition, you're sending them straight to calculus. And I feel like that's the wrong move. When you want to get somebody into the hobby, probably the best way to get them into it is not by, hey, watch all these videos about the lore of the Horus Heresy or the world in general. How I like to approach it is, well, let's look at the different armies that Warhammer has to offer and see if any of them appeal to you visually. It's like, do any of these look cool? Do the Space Marines look cool? Or the Tau? Or the Orcs? Or the Eldar? Or whatever. You kind of want to go from there. Because Warhammer is, in essence, a fighting game. I know it's a tabletop strategy game, but in essence, it's very similar in concept to a fighting game. In a fighting game, like for instance Street Fighter, you have a roster of characters, all with these very cool and fun designs that appeal to different kinds of people. So you want there to be a variety of choices for people to play or people to learn about. So telling them to go straight into the Horus Heresy is probably the wrong move because it's going to be too confusing for them. So start with the basics, get them into an army first. Like maybe they like I said, they like the Space Marines. And maybe get a little bit more in depth as, there's all these different kinds of factions of Space Marine. And hey, some Space Marines are more about stealth, or some Space Marines are more about brutality or fire or whatever. And see what the budding fan would like. And then just trip feed them that information. And I feel like that will lead to a growing interest in the fan, and little by little he's gonna want to research more, and then he'll little by little expose himself more to the lore, to the stories, and maybe he'll look up video games of the faction he likes, or maybe books about the faction he likes. And I feel like many times that's probably the best way to go about it. It's, again, just like a fighting game. You just want to introduce a new player to all these fun cast of characters and say, hey, which one looks cool to you? And pick him. See if you like to play him. And then you'll experiment with the character, or in this case, you'll experiment with the army and learn more about the army. It's like, oh, I like this aspect of it. Or they seem cool, but they're kind of boring. But I found out about this other group. I kind of want to learn more. So I feel like that should be taken into account. We should really sort of specialize your approach to a new fan, to a new budding fan. And that way, I feel like you'll get more investment from them. I mean, I know that's how I kind of came across Warhammer. It was very much by drip feed information. It's like I first came across a catalog of the minis, and I was like just impressed with all the cool minis. And immediately, like most starting fans of Warhammer, I gravitated towards the Space Marines. And I was like, oh, who are those guys in the big, bulky armor with all the heavy guns? And I'm like, oh, I want to know more about that. And then from there, I started learning more. I learned about the Space Wolf, and I was following the Space Wolves for a while. You know, and as I kept learning more and more about the lore, I was like, I learned about the Imperial Guard and how they're just normal people, you know, trying to survive. And I'm like, oh, that's pretty neat, you know. And then I learned about Inquisitors, and I learned about the Mechanicus. And that's where I really kind of honed in, because I'm a big Mechanicus fan. I don't know if you can tell from my little bow tie. Yeah, I am a cult Mechanicus. Or a Mechanicus cultist. But yes, little by little, you expose the fan to the world by starting from what they find most appealing, most visually interesting. And I feel like that's how you'll bring in more and more loyal and dedicated fans to the fandom. Anyway, that's been kind of a rant from me. If you like what you heard and would like to hear me rant more about different topics of Warhammer 40k, then please feel free to drop it in the comments or hit me up on Instagram at Rosario Art, or you can watch my live streams over on Twitch, which is also at Rosario Art. Anyway, I hope to hear from you fans soon, and thank you for taking the time to listen to me rant for a little while. This has been Rosario, and I'm signing out from the grim dark future. Bye-bye!